OKC Thunder take a 3-1 lead in this series after beating the Timberwolves 128 to 126. Julius Randle is the Angel Reese in the NBA, y'all. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse from game 2, remember his game 2 performance where he only had 6 points? He actually had a game worse than that in game 4. You had an opportunity to tie this series up before you go back to OKC's home arena. You just blew this team out by 30 points in game 3. And Julius Randle literally just shit the bed, bro. This man had 5 points. He was 0 for 3 from the 3, 1 for 7 overall. At this point, bro, just put Julius Randle on the bench for the rest of this series. You guys, you can't afford to have your star player who's in the starting lineup, who's arguably the second best player on the team besides Ant-Man, and you score 5 points? Really? This is making me think that the trade between Cat and Julius Randle, is obvious that the Knicks won that trade. Because how do you have a player this talented, that's a starter, that's easily capable of giving you, 15 to 20 points per game, and you score 6 points in game 2, and then in game 4 when your team needs you? And by the way, y'all, this was a very, very winnable game for Minnesota. The reason why they lost this game is single-handedly because of Julius Randle. He played 28 minutes and only scored 5 points. That is crazy, y'all. Angel Reese of the NBA. And I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying this to y'all because every time I say this, nobody talks about it. Mike Conley should not be the starting point guard of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Mike Conley is not good enough to start in the NBA, and in my opinion, he shouldn't be in the NBA anymore. Once again, Rob Dillingham, who was one of the top draft picks, in my opinion, he's the most talented draft pick of last year's NBA draft. I think he got picked number 4 and number 6. He got picked early in the first round. He played 0 minutes last night. So let me know, y'all. So you're telling me that if Rob Dillingham started at point guard, y'all are telling me he couldn't score more than 6 points? You're telling me that he couldn't have helped this Minnesota team win last night over Mike Conley starting? Because Mike Conley, he never averages 10 points per game anymore. That's crazy. Mike Conley, that was a superstar level player in Memphis. He was still a decent player with the Utah Jazz. Now he's playing for the Timberwolves. He just was in the conference finals last year, and you can't score 10 points per game? This is crazy, y'all. You had Dante DiVincenzo come off the bench and give you 21 points. You had Alexander Walker come off the bench and give you 23 points. Naz Reid came off the bench, gave you 11 points. Guys, this Minnesota coach, he needs to bench Julius Randle, start Naz Reid in his position, bench Mike Conley, start Dante DiVincenzo at point guard, and, have Rob Dillingham come off the bench and play point guard. If you don't want to start Rob, and listen, I understand, right? It doesn't make sense this late in the playoffs, right? Where Rob Dillingham is his first year in the NBA. It makes absolutely no sense to start him right now, right? It could just ruin everything offensively for the Timberwolves. But you could at least bring him off the bench. You telling me Rob Dillingham can't come off the bench and get you some points? Rob Dillingham is one of the tops. Like I said, he's one of the top scorers when he got drafted last year. Go look at how he played in college. Even when you look at how he played in the preseason, and even when you look at how he played when he was getting minutes in the regular season, this guy can get buckets, bro. This guy is the definition of a hooper. So if you don't want to start Rob Dillingham at point guard, why not start Dante? You could have Dante DiVincenzo play point guard. The man just had 21 points. Remember, Dante was a starter when he was playing for the Knicks. He just started coming off the bench playing for the Timberwolves because this team is too stacked. But he could easily start. I would start Dante over Mike Conley. And I damn sure would start Naz Reid over Julius Randle. This is 2 games in the series where Julius Randle has 6 points and 5 points. That's crazy. That's crazy, y'all. The Timberwolves should have won this game 4, man. That's why I'm not really going too hard on the Timberwolves because Ant-Man, he had 16 points, but he was struggling. But guess what? At least he showed up to play. Josh McDaniels had 22 points. Rudy had 13 points. You had 2 players come off the bench and give you a combined 40-plus game off the bench, they should have won this game, man. I have to place the blame on Julius Randle and Mike Conley. Julius Randle bench his ass the rest of the playoffs. Even if a miracle happened and the Timberwolves can somehow come back from this 3-1 loss that they're taking right now against OKC, let's just say they made it to the finals and they played the Knicks or the Pacers, I would still bench Julius Randle. Because coaches, they have to start making an example out of players that do stuff like this, yo. Mike Conley and Julius Randle, they shouldn't be able to get away with having horrible performances. And once again, to the people out there that's saying, oh, well, Mike Conley's a point guard, he doesn't need to shoot that much. Mike Conley only had 3 assists, y'all. So not only is he not scoring, but he's not passing and he's not getting assists. He's not helping his teammates score. Mike Conley is literally on the court just taking up space. He should not be in the starting lineup. He shouldn't be in the starting lineup. And he only played 19 minutes last night. He only had 19 minutes last night. It's obvious that he shouldn't be in the starting lineup. Period. He should not be in the starting lineup. And after this year, Mike Conley just needs to go ahead and retire, bruh. If the Minnesota Timberwolves bring back Mike Conley, then the franchise just don't care about winning championships because he's holding the team back. He's holding the team back. And the reason why I'm going harder on Mike Conley than Julius Randle is because Mike Conley has been playing like shit the entire playoffs. At least Julius Randle has had games where he's dropped 20 or 30 points. You can't name one game in the entire playoffs where Mike Conley even had 10 points. Notice I didn't say 20. You can't name one game in the entire playoffs where Mike Conley at least gave you 10 points. We can say Julius Randle has scored 20 or 30 in games throughout this entire playoffs. So that's my thoughts on it. This series is over, y'all. OKC is going to close this game out in 5 games. There's no way Minnesota is going to beat OKC in their home arena because they lost the first 2 games in OKC. So it's just not going to happen. This series is over, y'all. And, Ant-Man, this is getting to the point where Ant-Man is going to have to seriously consider if he wants to stay on this Minnesota Timberwolves team. Because this is a team that traded away Karl Anthony Towns, who's proven that he's better than Julius Randle, right? They traded away your second best player on the team. They got a washed up ass Mike Conley who can't even score 10 points, can't even get you 5 assists anymore. They're not giving Rob Dillingham, one of the most talented draft picks of last year's draft in the NBA. They're not giving him any minutes. You even got Jay Ingles, who's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. He's not getting minutes either. You telling me Ingles can't come off the bench and get you some threes? They might have to consider firing this Minnesota Timberwolves coach, bro, because it's obvious he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He has no idea what he's doing, man. It's your boy Wavy. I'm out, man. I'm pissed off, man.